and gentlemen, what's up and what's going on? And happy Money Monday. It is March 9th, 2022, 9 o'clock in the morning. How we all doing today? Welcome back. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and that you guys are fired up, motivated, prepared, hungry, ready to attack this market, ready to make it happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, hit me with a big old good morning. Happy Money Monday. What's up? What's going on? Mr. Steve, Allen, Trader Adam, Mr. Ron. Woo! Everybody's in chat, ready to hit it hard, ready to make it happen, ready to lock in some big time profits like we did last week. I tell you what, guys, you were on fire inside of Profit Chat. We were seeing some big time profits inside the chat in the market. You guys were on fire. Keep up the awesome work, guys. Keep up those, just locking it in. Just keep doing it. Keep doing what you do. You guys are on fire. You guys are making it happen. You guys are traders. So keep up the amazing work. Keep locking in those great profits, because now is the time to get prepared. Now's the time to get positioned for that possible recession everybody's talking about. Market's volatile. The market's moving. There is opportunity to make money. And that's an opportunity to get positioned correctly to build a beautiful long-term portfolio if we do indeed see a recession. Jakey Lakey, what's up? Barbie, Movie Store. Charles, what's up? Mr. Steve Rod. Did I buy a new computer? I did not, but I got a new setup. A lot of stuff. So again, I tried to mess with the stream quality, audio quality. So the stream may be different. The quality may be different. Just let me know, guys. Let me know. Make sure everything is all set, ready to rock and roll before we dive into this day. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, over on YouTube, what's up, Joey, Jason, Marvin, Ed Nevis, the man, the myth, the legend, Andrew, Stevie, John. What's up, guys? Good morning. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and drop TikTok real quick. You can join us over on YouTube, guys. It's AlphaDayTrading on YouTube. You see my screen. We're going to get you guys prepared. We're going to have some fun. We're going to find those opportunities and look to lock in some profits. I'll see you guys on YouTube. Link is in the bio. All right, guys. Derek, what's up? Good morning. Arlene, how we doing? Good morning. Dude, I'm fired up to be here. I'm ready to go. And it's a kind of a slow-ish pre-market for penny stocks, guys. It really is. It's a pretty slow pre-market for pennies. Not a lot of press releases, not a lot of volume. Why is that? Let's really take a second to think. Why is there maybe not a lot of focus with penny stocks? I mean, look at the Qs. The Qs are down from 309 to 302. I mean, big gap down on the Qs. Look at the SPY. SPY from 411 to 404.99. We're currently gapping down 6 points on the SPY. We're currently gapping down 6 points on the Qs. No wonder penny stocks aren't getting that high. No wonder penny stocks don't have that option, that action. What else is going on this week, guys? What else? This is the moment we've all been waiting for. A couple weeks ago, we were waiting for the conclusion of the Fed meeting to see exactly what they're doing with the interest rate hikes. Then what are we waiting for? CPI, PPI data. So Wednesday, we have CPI data coming out at 8:30. That's definitely going to move the market, right? Thursday, jobless claims, right? We have jobless claims data coming out Thursday at 8:30. There's a lot of data coming out this week that will affect the market. It will move the market, guys. So there's a lot this week to be mindful of. Wednesday and Thursday, the biggest data coming out that's really going to move the markets, right? So that's, in my opinion, why we're simply not seeing a lot of these companies dropping press releases left and right, because the focus is on the broader market. If you were a company, right, just think about psychology for a second before we dive into it. If you were a company listed on the stock exchange, you want your stock price to go up, right? Of course. You want people to buy your stock. You want your stock's price to go up from $1 to $5 to $10, right? Right. So when you drop press releases, you're dropping press releases strategically, right? Strategically, to get the most amount of action, to get the most amount of volume, to push that stock's price up as much as possible. Have you ever noticed a daily technical formation? Like a really good daily setup? And then the very next day, there's a press release drop that causes the stock to rip and run? It's not a coincidence. It's strategic. So when there's a lot of focus in the broader market, right? The SPY, the Qs, okay? When there's a lot of volatility, a lot of fear in the market, recession, inflation, do you really think, as a company, ask yourself, as a company, Would you really be dropping one of your best press releases? I wouldn't. Why? Because a lot of the volume, a lot of the attention is with the SPY and the Qs in the broader market, right? I wouldn't really want to be dropping these fantastic press releases right now, because what are the odds of the stock really moving? So that's, in my opinion, why we're not seeing a lot of these penny stocks, small caps, dropping just press releases left and right. Now, we do have some press releases today, right? We do have no. We do not have DPSI. My bad, guys. We do not have DPSI. We have ACER, SREV, and LOGC. Those are the only stocks that are dropping press releases, all right? So LOGC this morning announced FDA lifts clinical hold on Sunrise trial. So announcing that the FDA lifted their clinical hold. LOGC, it's a decent press release, right? The stock is up 76% at this point in time, trading 13 million shares. And on average, we trade 241. So we have a good press release. Nice low float stock, trading really good volume, leading the board right now, currently up 76%. So this stock is one of the few stocks that have a press release to back up the move. Now, one stock that I do want to talk about, DPSI. Most traders come into the market and they see DPSI. They're like, oh, wow, it's a low float stock. Wow, 6 million in float, this thing could run. It's up 45%. I want to trade it. Well, what's the credibility? Like, what is the reason this stock is currently up 45%? Well, DPSI shares were up at 1.97% in pre-market on very light volume. No news to account for the move. So when you look at a stock like LOGC and you compare it to a stock like DPSI, what stock do you really want to put your focus on? LOGC. Why? Well, number one, the catalyst, the press release. There's a credible reason for the stock to be moving. Number two, the volume, right? LOGC is trading 13 million shares. So it has a lot of focus, a lot of attention. DPSI is trading 200,000 shares. Not as much focus, not as much of it as I can't even talk. Not as much attention. Woo! I got it out. So that's our job in the morning, is to really understand why a stock's moving in the first place. If a stock's moving up randomly, do you really want to put that much focus on it? I don't. What could that be? A pre-market pump followed by an intraday dump. Not every time, but a lot of the times. So I'm going to find stocks that have credible reasons to be moving. That's going to be LOGC. Right, so LOGC, definitely a stock to be watching today. We have 80-cent support and $1 top resistance. Now, 94 cents will be resistance, pre-market highs, but then you have $1 on LOGC. Right now, support was down at 80 cents. We were talking about this one this morning, breaking over 80, retesting. We have room back up to $1. Now, one thing I want to point out is this massive gap to be filled on the daily chart. So if LOGC can ever break $1, we could absolutely see this thing rip on up to 136 to fill this big daily gap. Okay, so I definitely want to keep LOGC on high watch. Definitely over $1, because this thing could rip and run up to about 136. Again, bottom support right now, right around 80 cents. Now, we start cracking below the 80-cent level. I see potential for this thing to fall back down to 64 cents. So at this point in time, we want to see it hold above 80. Really get that dollar break, and we could see this thing rip and run up towards around 136. LOGC, definitely a top stock that we should be watching today. Now, a lot of traders would come in and say, all right, SREV. Wow, look at SREV. This stock's up 43%. It's trading 2 million shares, right? I want to look at this stock. I want to trade it. That's what most traders do. What do? We need to back it up. Why is the stock up at 146? Why is it up to 146? Well, let's go look and see if there's a press release. Oh, wow. There is a press release. SREV to be acquired in an all-cash transaction for $150 a share. So what is SREV worth out of this acquisition? It's worth $150 a share. What do you think the stock's going to do today? Probably going to sit at $150 a share. It's acquisition news, right? Acquisitions, mergers, buyouts. When they say per share, $1, $1.52, $100, the stock will spike up to that per share price and then sit sideways. So SREV, again, most traders say, I want to buy this. They're buying, they're jumping in. Why is the stock not moving? It's only worth $1.50 a share. So we're not really going to watch SREV. It's not worth your time, right? Stocks that are worth your time, obviously LOGC, we just talked about that. ACER, no. I mean, it has a press release with ACER. They announced agreement with the FDA this morning. ACER was up number 3 on the leaderboard at one point in time. But since then, boom, back down to 210. We're actually below Friday's close at this point in time. So when you really look at ACER, do you really want to get involved right now? Not really. But it may be worth watching because ACER, I believe, had a lower float, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's actually gapping down now, so I'm not going to be able to find it on the up gappers. When I saw it, I think it was a low float stock, had decent volume, and there was a good press release, not a bad press release. Let's see if this stock holds above $2. All right, maybe it's one big daily double bottom that starts forming today. And we can see it back up towards around that 260 level. On the daily chart, it shows 230, the 200 SMA at 240, the 50 SMA at 250, and then maybe we get back up to that pre-market high of 260. But right now, we need to see the stock hold above $2. It's a back burner stock. If it holds to and it starts bouncing, we'll shift our focus and our attention back over to ACER because there is a credible reason for the stock to move today. But right now, look at it. Definitely not a reason to be jumping on in. And again, that's what I said from the get-go, from the start this morning. A slow pre-market. There's not a lot of action. My focus, 80 to 90% of it, SPY and the Qs, inverse ETFs. That's where the opportunity is going to be, guys. All right, so ACER, back burner, watch it above 2. All right, LOGC, definitely a top stock to watch out of the gate. Watch it above 80 cents, up to $1. Over $1, we could fill the gap at 136. BTTX. Right, second stock we're watching out of the gate. This was one of last week's top gainers. This was our Wednesday into Thursday day trade, the swing trade, and we made almost 100% from entry to that high there on Thursday. It was about 100%. I didn't take the whole 100%. I got about 50% out of it, but it was a great mover last week. Very clean, very consistent, and I definitely want to keep this one on watch again today, right around this like 135 to 137 level. See if we can hold on up. If we can't hold on up, I would think we would come back down towards around $2 next before we bounce and see some action. So watch BTTX above 235. If we hold 235 and we open and we start ripping on up, we could see 265, 275, and then upwards of around $3. Now, if we're cracking below this 230 to 235 level, I would say you have potential to fall back down towards around 2 to 204 on BTTX. It's still a stock that has momentum. It's a prior day mover. There is some action here. There's some, there's focus. This stock is gapping up. This stock can move once again today like it did last week. So at this point in time, absolutely, most definitely, 100%, we will be watching BTTX, guys. Okay? So top two stocks out of the gate is LOGC number 1, BTTX number 2. Back burner, we have ACER. We have RDBX as a back burner as well. Now, if RDBX can stay above $6, okay, this stock has a lot of potential back up to $7.55. So if we can see this setting on up above 6, we can see this up towards around that $7.55 today on RDBX. Now, why would we really want to be watching RDBX? Well, it was a prior mover last week, number 1. There is some momentum. The stock is moving a little bit here in pre-market, but I would say the biggest 2 reasons is, number 1, the daily gap fill bounce. Now, we came slightly below that gap fill level on Friday, but we had a nice little green day, and we're back above the gap level here in pre-market, $6. Number 1, maybe that gap fill bounce strategy to push this back up to $7.55. Number 2, attention, hype, and focus. There is a lot of traders talking about this stock. Oh my gosh, it's the next AMC. It's the next GameStop. It's a short squeeze. It's going to the moon. Well, when you have traders talking about a stock going to the moon and there's that much focus, the stock moves. So not only do we have tons of hype, tons of focus with this stock, we have a daily setup as well, the gap fill bounce, and it's a prior day mover, and we could still see it move again this week. Back up to $7.55, current support, $6 on RDBX. It is a back burner at this point in time, but a back burner stock that we should be keeping on watch. Again, top 2, BTTX and LOGC, guys. Those are the top 2 stocks to be watching. Again, very, very slow pre-market. My focus, 80 to 90% of it, is going to be with the SPY and the Qs, right? The SPY and the Qs. So, the SPY had resistance at 405.23. We have resistance at 406.32 at this point in time. And I'm just really looking at some of Friday's levels as some of our more realistic, shorter term levels of support and resistance. All right. So again, I'm looking at that 405.23. We had resistance, backed off, broke above. Now we're working our way up to that 406.32. Next, if the SPY breaks 406.32. I would say the SPY could get up towards around 407.71. And then that pre-market high. Now, it's not really a substantial high, but it's that pre-market high right around 408.63. So those are going to be some levels to keep on watch, guys, as far as resistance if we do move on up out of the gate. Now, if we crack back down below 405.23 at the open, and we retest that as resistance, doesn't have to be a retest, but ideally a crack and retest. But if we just crack below that 405.23, I would think we would get pulled back down to those pre-market lows of 402.69. And then anything underneath of those pre-market lows, 467. So I would say between 400 and then 467 cents. 467 cents is a daily gap fill on the SPY, but again, $400 psychological support here on the SPY. So there's a lot of opportunity, whether that's calls, whether that's puts. I would like to see the markets drop. What's the saying? Bulls take the stairs up. Bears take the elevator down. There is a lot more money to be made when the market is dumping on off, right? So I would really like to see this fall back below that 405.23 and look to short this down to that 402.69 and then that 467 level here on the SPY. And it's the same thing with the Qs, right? Just look at the Qs, right? We have some resistance right now on the Qs. Back up towards around 305.11. We're not anywhere close to that. I mean, we're kind of close, but we're not as close to resistance like the SPY is. So again, the Qs up towards around 305.11 resistance. If we see the stock back off, sets up, it's bearish, we have a short signal, we would look to short this back down to pre-market lows. Pre-market lows, 394 cents. Now, the Qs, obviously pre-market lows, 394. If we crack below that, where's the next target for support? It's psychological support at $300. Okay, if we crack below 300, we do have potential to fall down to 297.87. Now, we have to think about this to the long side as well. Okay, I'm short biased. I think we could see the markets dump on off, and that's what I would like to see. But again, I'm not just going to get prepared to the short side if the market rips and runs today. I want to get prepared to the long side as well. So breaking and holding above that level of resistance, old resistance, 305.11, turning into new support, where could we see the Qs go? I would say back into those lows from Friday, 306.30, and then right back up towards around pre-market, post-market high, right around 307.48 here on the Qs. And again, you guys know me. You can trade SPY calls and puts. You guys know exactly how to get involved with calls and puts. If not, dive into that video lessons library. Watch the 3-part option series. It's about 3 hours long. It's going to teach you everything you need to know about options, how to trade calls and puts, how to manage your risk, how to build trade plans, what strike to pick, what expiration, the delta, the theta. It'll break everything down so you can come in and actually start trading options, right? But me personally, SPY and the Qs. How do I trade the SPY and the Qs? Well, if I'm looking to trade the SPY short, I'll look to go long on UVXY. If I'm looking to trade the Qs shorts, I will look to go long in SQQQ. If I'm looking to... Sorry, my daughter's throwing me off. She is screaming. If I'm looking to trade the Qs long, what could I do? I could short SQQQ like I did on Friday, or you can look to go long on TQQQ. So that's how I'm trading the SPY and the Qs. UVXY, SQQQ, inverse ETFs. TQQQ, ETF that tracks the Qs, it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more affordable, again, from a equity standpoint. But again, if you guys are trading calls and puts, your best bet is just to trade calls and puts on the SPY and the Qs. So about 80 to 90% of my focus today is going to be looking at the SPY. It's going to be looking at the Qs. Out of the gate for penny stocks, we're going to be looking at BTTX out of the gate, LOGC out of the gate, followed by a couple back burners, ACER above 2, RDBX above 6. Now, again, very simple stuff this morning, guys. Not a lot to talk about, but again, getting you guys prepared, doing that due diligence. Where's the opportunity? Why are we looking at these stocks in the first place? Again, to get you guys prepared. Now, if there's any stocks that you see that you think have potential, go ahead and type those up. Let's go ahead and review those over the next 9 minutes. BBIG had that massive gap up there on Friday from that news, and it did absolutely nothing. I don't like BBIG intraday. BBIG lately just doesn't move intraday. It's a very large flow. It ripped Thursday, and then did absolutely nothing on Friday. So I'm not too crazy about BBIG unless it starts breaking back above, I would say $3.30 is when I would even shift my attention on over to BBIG. SOPA is moving. All right, so again, we have SOPA currently up 37%, trading 4 million shares on average, 3 million, 15 million in flow. The press release just dropped at 9 o'clock. So literally in the last 21 minutes, we've traded almost 5 million shares. So we can see that there's some hype here. We can see that there's some activity and some volume. Now, why is this stock currently gapping up for 37%? Q1 earnings. So we have earnings on SOPA. Now let's take a step back for a second. What did we see last week? EHTH, earnings, nice mover, right? PRTS, earnings, really nice mover. TMDX, earnings, really nice mover. Those were the market conditions last week. A lot of stocks posting earnings. Those stocks ripped out of the gate. Let's absolutely watch SOPA to see if this stock may rip out of the gate on earnings. Let's go ahead and do some due diligence real quick and get prepared and mark up all of our levels. Where could we see the stock go? How high could it go? How low could the stock go? So again, let's just mark up our obvious levels. 380. Why 380? Look at that daily double top at 380. That's a very obvious level of resistance here on SOPA. Another very obvious level of resistance or support would be the neckline of the double top. So we have the double top resistance, and then we have the crack below the neckline. And we'd see that neckline at 291 is resistance. Resistance was the support level. Crack the neckline, flush on off. So right now, where's resistance? 291. Over 291, where's resistance? Well, $3 psychological resistance. And then our next main level is going to be that double top resistance at 380. Now, there's going to be other levels between 3 and 380. So we need to mark up those smaller, not as obvious levels. Okay, so what I see is this spiking high up to 326 and a low of day at 326. So I see 2 points in the past. That was a level of support, resistance, and would you look at that? When we had that slight gap down, it was the open as well. So we can see that there's been a lot of times that the stock has hit that 326 and either hit it as support and bounced or hit it as resistance and got rejected. So 291 resistance, $3 psychological resistance, then 326, 350, that's another psychological level, and then up towards around 380 here on SOPA. So we know our levels of resistance, targets in which we need to look to lock in profits if we're in this trade. But here's the next question. What about support, Josh? All right, I know where it could go, but how low could it go? What if it dumps? What if I want to short this stock today? How low could it go? What I'm seeing are these daily lows at 203. So that's a very obvious level. Came down, bounce, bounce, shoot on up, 203. And I want to look at some of these moving averages as well. So I'm going to be looking at that 50 SMA right around 255. I'll be looking right around that 20 EMA at 223. So that's actually pretty easy. $2, 225, 250. I know it's 203, 223, and 254, but it's pretty easy. Just every quarter. 225, 250. Support. Resistance is 291 to $3. Anything over that 291 and 326. Anything over 326, boom, 380. So this is what we do in the mornings. This is preparation. Okay, SOPA, it's gapping up. Okay, what's the volume? 5 million shares. What's the average volume? 3 million. So we have higher relative volume. It's a nice low float stock. It can move. Why is the stock moving? Okay, earnings. All right, are stocks moving on earnings in this market? Yes, they are. So we've identified a credible stock to watch today. Has a good press release. We know that stocks with earnings have been ripping. It's currently gapping up almost 40%. It's trading great volume. It's a low float stock. Now, get prepared. Do your due diligence. We just did. Support and resistance. That's the easiest part about trading. That part right there took 5 minutes. And we've already gotten prepared on SOPA. What's the hard part? Being patient. Being patient. Waiting for a strategy. Waiting for a setup to appear. This is the easiest part, right? Getting prepared. Doing your due diligence is easy. Like Corey said last week, he comes in, he marks up all of his levels. He does his TA. He does his due diligence. Then what? He waits. What does he wait for? A pattern? A strategy? A reason? multiple reasons to take a trade. And whenever he finds that opportunity, what does he do? He reacts. He takes the trade. Long or short, doesn't matter. What does Corey do? He locks in consistent profits, like everybody inside of chat. So if you're a newer trader here today and you're like, all right, where do I get in? Where do I get in? Calm down. Sit back. Relax. You just need to know basic technical analysis, support resistance, again, morning preparation, why is the stock moving, press releases to get prepared. Then you need to learn basic strategies, right? 5-minute reversals, the boom, boom, bang, learn patterns, ascending triangles, flags, advanced strategies like the divergence short that we all love inside of chat. And then it's just having a foundation and an idea of setups and strategies and what happens when we see these setups and strategies. Like, what are the odds of the stock moving in my direction, right? You just have to wait now at this point for that strategy or that setup. And when you see it present itself, what's the next step? Build a plan, get prepared, take the trade, react. The hardest part, right, is the patience, is the waiting, is the discipline. So right now, we're going to sit back on our hands and wait for a setup, wait for a strategy, wait for a reason at or near one of these levels of support and resistance. And if we see something set up, I will absolutely call it out, back it up with education. Let's look to lock in some profits, guys. All right, so we are all set, ready to rock and roll. Any other stocks that you guys have on your watch list, let me know. I'll definitely take a look at it. But right now, let's go ahead and take a quick little vote inside of chat. What stock do you think is going to do the best today? Inside of chat, you'll see a poll notification pop up here in a second. Over on YouTube, go ahead and just type up one of those tickers. What stock do you think is going to do the best today? Do you think it's going to be SOPA? Do you think it's going to be LOGC? Do you think it's going to be BTTX? Do you think the top stock of the day is going to be RDBX? Or do you think we should just watch the SPY and the Qs? All right, so what stock do you guys think will do the best today? If you guys are inside a chat, all you have to do is right here. I love you. Can I have a kiss? All right, sorry about that, guys. We're all set. So, yeah, if you guys are inside a chat, either A, you see recent polls up here above the chat room. You can click on that and vote, or inside your chat box. So, for example, if it's detached, right, if your chat box is detached, you can still see that poll notification pop on up, guys. Right? So, go ahead and cast your votes, right? What stock do you think is going to do the best today? I personally think it's going to be the SPY and the Qs, and that's where I want to put most of my focus and most of my attention. Alpha Dino? Yes. Alpha Dinosaur. Rah! And I got a new little interface I'm going to be testing out today, guys. So if you guys know notice any issues with the stream, just let me know. I'll be kind of messing with it here this afternoon, making sure that the audio doesn't cut out, making sure that we're all set, ready to rock and roll. We can switch between some stuff. Again, I'm just going to be trying out some new things. I have this pad coming in to where I can actually draw on it. So when we actually start marking up charts, I can draw on it and build plans with you. I think that's going to be pretty cool, so I'm excited for that. But anyway, what are we thinking inside the chat? Right now, we have 56% of chat saying the SPY and the Qs. I agree. But out of the gate, let's watch BTTX. Let's watch SOPA. And then obviously, we're absolutely going to be watching the SPY and the Qs, guys. So Qs off to the side, SPY off to the side. Right now, SOPA, BTTX, LOGC. Is my mic really quiet, guys? Before we actually start diving into it 100%, I'd rather go ahead and make adjustments I need to make right now before we get to like 10 o'clock and we start calling stuff out. So go ahead and let me know. How's the mic? Make sure that audio is crystal clear. Make sure it sounds beautiful and fantastic. Make sure that we're all set. She is fired up for Money Monday. She's like, Daddy, make that money. Make that freaking money. Let's go. Woo. All right, guys. So we are all set. We're watching SOPA. Make sure your volume's up, too. Everybody says it sounds great. So just make sure the your audio's up. So SOPA, again, 223. Support if we crack below 250. ACER was above 2, so above $2 on ACER. For some reason, my fidelity is not working again. I don't know if I need to update it or whatnot, but it's being funky. We'll see. LOGC above 80 cents. So if we crack 80 cents, watch for LOGC to fall back down towards around 75 cents. But if you guys like LOGC off the press release, off the movement, it's already set up once. Nice pullback to 80 cents, nice big rip. You guys could be looking to start a position maybe down here around 80 cents. If we come down to 75 cents, maybe add to it. If we ever crack below 75 cents, you start getting out. But if we hold that 80 cent level, we can absolutely see it back up towards around 93, 94 cents and then $1. If we crack below 80 cents, your next best level of support is 75 cents. RDBX above 6. And that's the level that we want to see RDBX staying above is $6. Now, if we hold that $5.90, $6 level, this still has great potential to be a gap fill bounce strategy to get this pushed back up towards around 750 on RDBX. There's SOPA, new high a day. Next resistance, 290. Right now, SOPA is the stock to watch. Most definitely. Yep. All right. So again, a lot of my focus, guys, is on the SPY. It is on the Qs. That's where a lot of my focus is going to be. But I know for you guys that like these small caps, and don't get me wrong, I love small caps. I love trading penny stocks. But the opportunity's been in the broader market. You know, penny stocks have been really choppy lately, right? I mean, penny stocks have been really messy, really choppy. The clean, consistent moves been with the SPY and the Qs and those inverse ETFs. I mean, that's where the money's at. That's where the simple setups are, the simple trades, versus having to hesitate in all your trades, thinking like, man, what if I jump into this penny stock? Is it a rug pull? Like, no one wants to hesitate, you know, on a stock. We want to feel confident. And lately with penny stocks, they've been kind of tearing that confidence down a little bit. So new support, SOPA 267. We have a nice big rip up, above resistance, consolidate, big rip up, consolidating under resistance, big rip up. So right now, old resistance turns into new support. So old resistance right around 267, new support down towards around 267 with resistance at 291 and then $3. I'm just commentating what I see. Support resistance to get you guys more prepared. When I say support resistance, that's not a buy signal. That's not an alert. This is me getting you prepared. Remember what I said? You have to wait for a setup. You have to wait for a formation. You have to wait for a reason to buy the stock. And if we get a reason, I'll call that out and I'll back it up with an entry, with an exit, with a stop loss. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm just calling out what I see to get you guys more prepared on your TA. Maybe a nice little trend line on SOPA, come off that pre-market low, run it up to this intraday low. Maybe a slight little trend line support here as well. Again, support's still back down at 267, old resistance. As long as we see BTTX now above 235, this thing looks good to 255 and 265 and then 275. So we really want to see BTTX holding above that 235 level. Same thing with RDBX. Now that we're above 6, we really want to see RDBX holding above 6. We just saw a nice re-break of 6. Let the thing pull back a little bit. The stock just went from 590 to 630. That's 40 cents without pulling back. Let this stock pull back. Don't chase this stock. I can't say how many times we've seen this stock rip out of the gate and then it dumps. Rips out of the gate, then it dumps. Let it rip. If it dumps, don't get in. If it's a nice, healthy pullback, look for your entries down towards round 6. Again, main target, 750 on RDBX. But right now, I'm going to watch SOPA, and then I'm still watching the Qs, and I'm still watching the SPY. All right, so just a game of patience, right? The Q's up towards around that 305.11 area, and that was resistance on the Q's. So I do want to watch the Q's up towards around this 305.10, and I wonder if we start getting rejected here. Give me one sec. I need to restart my Fidelity. It does this quite a bit for some reason. It's very odd. All right, so let me shut down and let me reboot. And I was going to look to jump into SQQQ as the Qs were hitting that 305.10 resistance. I went to go put an order in, but it's all jacked up. So I missed that trade. But I was getting ready to jump into SQQQ as the Qs were right at that 305.10 resistance, and I expected to see a nice little pullback. What did SQQQ do there? Right off that low, up about 50 cents. So not a bad little pop there. That'd have been a nice little pop for some quick profits. But right now, get logged back in real quick. Oh no, my power bank's beeping. Don't shut down. My CPU's at 100%. Come on. Don't shut down on me. If I lose the stream, guys, it's because my my power bank's beeping. It did this on Friday and my whole computer crashed. Please don't crash. I'm nervous. I think it's gonna crash. You guys hear that beep in the background? I don't know what's going on, but it did this last time, and then my whole system shut down. So if it shuts down, you're going to have to bear with me to get it started back up, guys. I don't know what's going on. Pretty frustrating, I'm not going to lie. It's only when I open applications on my computer. It's not the power bank. It's my computer. Because that only started happening